have one other question here. This is a short one, but it is an important one, I think. It says simply, how do we avoid extremes? How do we avoid extremes?
I would say that Jesus is extreme. There are probably some people, can I use my favorite word? Radical. There are probably some people that think Impact Scandinavia is extreme. So I would say, go back to the life of Jesus, go back to the Word. I was just in Australia. I heard the story of Helen Hall, taught until she was 50. She said, God, I want to do something more than just teach each year. She ended up going to the border between Myanmar and Thailand. She has raised up a school in a refugee camp that gets bombed. Soldiers come through. There are now 1,000 students in that school. It is called Eden Valley Academy. You can go Google Eden Valley Academy. People tell her, you are extreme. You're 78 years old now. Come back to a safe place and live a safe life. She says, this is what Jesus has called me to do. So if I'm listening to the Word and I'm following Jesus, some people might call it extreme, when actually it's just obedience. But I know there's more to the story.
But Eric, when we look at church history, let's admit that we have had many extreme movements that has not really been building the church. Do you agree?
I agree. For example, a person that says, it's a temptation to not have high moral conduct, so I'm going to hide in a cave in the desert. That's an extreme reaction. So yeah, so what do we do then? Well,
in the middle of the road.
The middle of the road could be going the wrong way. So I understand what you're saying, but I want to come back to the principles about my impressions about things. I want to listen to the Word, and I want to listen to godly counsel. And I say, I'm feeling God calling me to go to Lifestyle TV for a year, you know, and people, you remember the young man, Oleg, who offered to teach, to work with me as a teaching pastor for no salary? I'm sure there are people that say that is, but listen to counsel, listen to the Word, listen to godly counsel, and if I am off base, you'll tell me, because you love God and you love me. So I want to listen to that, but I want to tell you, I think there's too many people trying to play it safe, stay in the middle of something when the world is dying. So somehow we've got to go beyond normal, right? But at the same time, we've got to avoid an unhealthy extreme, and I think the Word and godly counsel can help protect me.
Yes, because I'm thinking of the pillars of Christianity. You have some certain pillars that the whole thing is built on. And the Bible is silent about many things. And we shouldn't go into the extremes of trying to put something into the Bible that is not there.
Sometimes it will be termed new light. And new light is often based on a sensational, discovery. Whether it be in prophecy, that suddenly, you know, wait a minute, if you count up this and you count up that, there's a new thing coming in here. Or you know, there's a new way to pray, and people that, you know, are dissatisfied with their prayer life, they're going to say, okay, what is that? And, you know, it's going to, we see this spiritual formation and Eastern mysticism reviving in Christianity very strongly. And so I think the extreme movements are going to be based on often new light and sensationalism, and also focused often on a few or one individual that is getting all the attention. And it's like, you know, this guy, we need to follow this person. Well, the person we need to follow is Jesus Christ. And the truth we need to follow is the Word. And so we need to test all things. And I'm very skeptical when I hear someone say, you know, about new light or a new prophecy, or, well, you know, I think that what we already have is exciting enough. And I think that the pillars of Adventism that our pioneers have discovered continue to have force and power and a converting power in the life and in the preaching. And this doesn't mean that we don't discover new things, but those new things that we discover are not going to contradict light that we already have.
I think that very often in extremism, often Jesus is not the center of the message, and you can kind of feel that sometimes if you reflect on it. You look back and you're like, so what was this all about? You know, it's like all this. I've seen some amazing charts. You know, some amazing charts, just scattered with all kinds of information, right? And it's hard to identify what everything is, you know, and I think that yeah, if Jesus is the center of the message, then it does balance it out, but biblically, you know, biblically, and also I think that one of our, you know, we should try to avoid hobby horses as much as possible. You know, obviously we always learn, and the new thing that we learn becomes kind of our hobby horse, right? But I think that, and that's fine, but I think that, you know, when we start to not liking a certain text or a certain quote, you know, we only like one side of the quotes, okay? You do a study on how you should pray, right? Whether kneeling or standing or laying on your, you know, face. You know, different things, right? And I've seen a lot of people, they just like these quotes. They like the quotes where it's just always kneeling, and they'll get out of their car to kneel on the side of their car, you know, before they go driving, and so because those are the quotes that they like, and they don't like the other quotes where it says, oh, and at the end of a sermon, you know, and at the end of the ceremony, it's good to stand when you finish the sermon, right? Things like that. I mean, they don't like those quotes. They only like these quotes, and so actually it has to do a lot with a lack of knowledge of hermeneutics. If we learn how to the science of interpretation of texts, biblical hermeneutics, how we should biblically interpret Bible texts and spirit of prophecy texts, I think we would avoid a lot of controversy in these lines.
Thank you very much.